NFL Game Day morning here on Wild Card Weekend, Super Wild Card Weekend Saturday, presented by Into a TurboTax Live. Look, I'm just going to let everyone know how things work sometimes. I'm going to let how the sausage gets made. You know, it's live television, right? And sometimes when we show all the players who are warming up for games, I'll take one, and then Mooch will take one, and then Kurt will take one, and Irv will take one. If you noticed, after Mooch, we showed Cole Beasley, and we just heard silence, right? I jumped in, and I filled the void. Normally, we don't talk about stuff like that, but the reason why, first time in my career, I've been fortunate to do this for a quarter century now on television. I've never had a fill-in for somebody who got out of the chair because he was making a wardrobe change. That actually just happened. Kurt,
you probably should. We are stepping up our game here. It's playoff time. I just had to hear Animated Michael. Animated Michael was talking crap about the suit game, so I figured, hey, it's playoff time. Let's go. Come on, Irv.
Yeah, best fashion sense out of the four is what this fan is saying.
I can't believe Kurt did a suit change. A wardrobe change in the middle of a show.
He literally did. It's just like, hey, where did Kurt go? Where was Kurt?
I quit. This is out of hand around here.
Hold on a second. No.
That's it.
Now you're upset because
I've never done a wardrobe change. What are you talking about?
Cartoon just did a wardrobe change.
By the way, this is the last time I saw something like that happen is when you watched Ray Lewis deliver his Hall of Fame speech using one of those mics. And you were like, I didn't get one.
I didn't get a prompter. I had quit.
You were enjoying the speech, and then suddenly it dawns on you, like, wait a minute, I didn't get to do that. All right, then. Now,
y'all funny,
let's talk playoff football, shall we? That's why we are all here, not to just change coats all willy-nilly, leaving a host high and dry to fill in the void, but it's all good. Will Tom Brady's hot streak continue against Washington? Who's first up? Is that you?
Let the guy with the coat on. Look at that guy.
All right, hey, I'll take it. Hey, Rich, thank you for covering for me.
All good, Kurt.
I mean, sometimes when we do those intros, you take every one of them too. So I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be talking. So it is what it is. But we're talking about Tom Brady. You know, when you talk about staying hot, I mean, I don't know if he can stay as hot as he's been the last 4 games. I mean, this has been unprecedented even for Tom Brady. I really like the front of the Washington football team. Mooch talked about it. I think there's going to be opportunities on the back end in this game. I don't think he'll stay as hot. They won't score as many points. But I do think Tom Brady, come playoff time, come January, he's going to play a good football game.
Okay, guys, and it is, we've glossed over this. That's amazing that these last 4 games have been the most in his career. We're talking Tom Brady's career. We're talking an 07 season included in here. He had 1,333 yards in the last 4 games, 12 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 126, best in his career. Now, that's all great. If he wants to keep this going, no, he cannot continue to do that. He has to break this thing down, Coach. He has to wear down these defensive linemen because he's playing better defensive linemen than he played in those last 4 games now that he is in the playoffs. So he has to go back to what he was doing, getting the ball out of his hands quickly to beat down and break down those defensive line, and then he can keep his hot streak going. Don't go up the field as much.
Besides throwing the ball quickly, they've got to be able to run the football with Ronald Jones every now and then. I don't want to see Tom back in that pocket 55 times.
Right.
Because this defensive front, and it's not just Chase Young, it's Montez Sweat and Kerrigan and Allen and Payne. They got 5 first-rounders. And if they start throwing the ball too much, they're going to get in a track stance, and they're going to be rushing the passer, and I'll meet you at Brady. So they've got to mix in the run with Ronald Jones and whoever else is going to play in that running back core. And, you know, and keep those guys playing run and pass. It might buy Tom Brady a little more time.
That's tonight on NBC. Mike Tirico and Tony Dungy, our friends from NBC, on that call. And is that Diggs warming up? This is fun with it, throwing with it. How excited must these fans be, and how excited must the Bills players who've been playing in front of an empty stadium be that they will have a playoff game that they have earned with their first division title since 1995, and they will be doing it in front of fans. Kim Jones, take it away.
Yeah, Rich, I can't tell you how happy I am to tell you there are fans in these stands, and I think they're going to be loud. They're fired up, and during warm-up, Stephon Diggs interacting with some of those fans, the first time he's gotten to see them in this stadium. The big question for the Bills today was the availability of Cole Beasley with the knee injury. He is active. I'm told Beasley is going to give it a go. It sounds like the Bills might watch him carefully, but they have their full contingent of wide receivers today. Meanwhile, back on January 3rd, 1993, when Frank Reich wasn't the Indianapolis head coach, he was a Bills quarterback back then. He orchestrated a comeback for the ages, so legendary that we set it to music.
And Houston now leads 35-3.
We can overcome, baby. We can overcome this.
Four-man rush, drops back in the pocket, sails it long, all alone, Beebe at the 10, the 5, in for the touchdown. Here is Wright, looking to throw, rolls out, throws, down there is Reed at the 5, in for the touchdown. And now the Bills are back in this game.
As this game swung.
4th and 5 at the 18, there's the snap, he backs up, he looks, he throws, Reed, touchdown. It is pandemonium here at Rich Stadium. Back to throw. He looks. He throws. Touchdown. Andre Reed. 3 straight touchdowns.
Listen to this crowd.
Great comeback and playoff history.
Bills can win it here. Wright puts it down. The kick is on the way, and it is good.
And the Buffalo Bills have engineered the greatest comeback in the history of the National Football League.
I'm just so proud. I'm so thrilled. This is the greatest moment of my life.
This stuff, man.
How about that?
Moments.
Unbelievable. First team in NFL playoff history to come back from 24 or more points down.
I was so happy.
The second team to do it. Who was the second team to do it, Steve? Mount Mooch, yeah. 18-year anniversary this week. You came on my show to talk about it. The bummer moment for the New York Giants after you came back and all those penalties were flying except for one and all that. But anyway, it's a comeback for Frank Reich today. And look, how do the Bills avoid the same fate of the Patriots last year, who watched Mike Vrabel come in with his team and one and done the end of the Brady-Belichick era? How do the Bills avoid this one today, Steve?
The Bills have to stop the run. Jonathan Taylor is a beast. 253 yards rushing last week, the rookie from Wisconsin. So you load the box up. And while you're loading up the box, every now and then you got to blitz them. You got to pressure Phillip Rivers. They're as good as anybody at protecting that guy. But I think, Kurt Warner, that Tre'Davious White, he's a heck of a corner. Maybe he travels with T.Y. Hilton, and maybe they can play some man. They're not afraid of Phillip Rivers running for first downs like Josh Allen. He's going to play the game from the pocket.
Yeah, Coach, I'm with you. I think it starts with the run game that we know the Colts have been really, really good since about week 13 at running the football. Jonathan Taylor's been great. And in the losses the Bills have had this year, they've given up almost 200 yards rushing in those games. So that's going to be key. But then I think the second part of that is, okay, if we can stop the run game, how do we attack that guy right there? Because he loves to get the ball out of his hands quickly. Can they take away some of that short stuff, force him to throw the football down the field, and then possibly turn the football over a little bit?
And that's why, Coach, when you talk about Trey White getting up on T.Y. Hilton, making Phillip Rivers hold on to the football, and then hopefully you can get Phillip Rivers to kind of revert back and start turning the ball over a lot. That's a good way. But you guys are talking about the run game. You know, first 10 weeks, Jonathan Taylor averaged 47 yards per game. Since week 11, 123 yards per game. I mean, the kid is really, really coming on. You don't want to put it on his hands, put it in his hands, and then try to make him turn it over and put it in your hands.
You could see he's just soaking in the moment. We showed a shot at the outset of this conversation of him coming out on the field, one of the first Colts out there surveying the scene. Looks like he's kind of having a good time right there, warming up, getting ready for a playoff game. His first as an Indian. I know we're making such a big deal, as rightfully we should, of Tom Brady in his first playoff game not being a Patriot. This is his first playoff game not being a Charger, San Diego, or Los Angeles. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, obviously he and Peyton Manning are different in terms of, you know, ultimate championship resumes and things, but just seeing as a Colt quarterback in this building, it just throws me back to those 90s and those late 90s, early aught games when Peyton used to be in that division. It's just a fun matchup.
I love watching this guy play because he doesn't, when the defense is on the field, he doesn't go sit down and look at the pitchers the whole time. He's up cheering on his teammates. He's talking smack to everybody. He loves the game. He's been in it a long time. Very unique quarterback, and I love watching this guy play.
And he, with a win, goes back to his AFC West stomping grounds because the Kansas City Chiefs would welcome in the Colts with a win.